This summer, I opened a question box over on Instagram and asked if you had any questions at all about any topic, homeschool or not, and you guys sent in a ton of homeschool questions, ranging from book recommendations, curriculum choices, all the way to raising teens. So let's get to as many as we can today. Hi, I'm Trisha at Juicebox Homeschool, and today I wanted to try to get through as many of the questions that came through on Instagram, and there were a lot. So I'm going to go through a lot of the quick answers here. Some I might make into individual videos or blog posts just because they require more time to answer. But before we get into that today, I want to thank Code Monkey for sponsoring today's video. Code Monkey, if you haven't heard of it yet, is an award-winning online platform that teaches coding to kids 5 through 14. They teach real coding languages like CoffeeScript and Python. They teach text coding and block coding, all while learning in a game-like environment. It's crazy to think that kids as young as 5 years old can start programming to build their own games and puzzles. So what is the point of bringing coding into our homeschool? Coding is quickly becoming the language of our world today. As home educators, we can teach our kids the skills to not only use computers, but also understand how they work. I'm learning right alongside my kids. I'm such a newbie at this. I have no idea what this language is. It feels like we're learning a foreign language together, but I'm finding that coding is not just about computers. It's also about developing and nurturing skills like problem solving, logic, and creativity. As your child solves problems through writing real code, they simultaneously develop other important skills such as multi-step thinking, perseverance, critical thinking, and analytical thinking. There's no previous experience needed, which is so great. We've used other coding programs in the past. CodeMonkey moves at a great pace for my kids, not too quickly and not too slow. Each self-guided challenge includes instructions and user-adapted hints and tips. My middle school son said his favorite part about CodeMonkey is advancing through the levels. He likes the challenges. He likes the animation. He likes the encouragement he receives when he's able to enter code and it does what it's supposed to do. It's rewarding to see his problem solving of trying to figure out the right code to make the character or the game perform as he intended it to be. My 9-year-old daughter said she just loves the challenges. She loves the ability to keep trying, and it's very much like a riddle to her where she's getting this self-guided challenge and getting it wrong a lot of times, but she likes that challenge because she knows there's a right answer and she's determined to figure it out. So like I said, CodeMonkey requires no previous experience. It starts at a very beginner level and progresses slowly to higher level challenges. I'm so excited. CodeMonkey shared with me a 25% discount code for my friends. It is CMJBH25, and that gives you 25% off your subscription. I'm going to leave that down below for easy access, but be sure to check out CodeMonkey and use the discount code. It will be a fun addition to your homeschool this year. My favorite part is the parent dashboard. I can see their progress, and it's all self-paced, so I don't need to assist or hover over them. This is an independent learning tool, and they're having a blast. Now let's jump right into our questions. The first one is, what books have you read about raising tweens and teens that have prepared your heart? So the first one that comes to mind is The Age of Opportunity by Paul David Tripp. And you might have read his very popular book called Parenting, 14 Gospel Principles That Can Radically Change Your Family. So I read that first with my small group at church, and it was really powerful and insightful. Something I wish I read when my kids were a lot younger or even when I was just pregnant, but reading it was still worth it. There's a lot of insightful wisdom in that book, but I saw that he had another one geared towards parents of teens. And just like the title says, he really focuses on parenting in the teen and tween years as an opportunity and talks about the critical need for parents to lean into this stage. It feels like culture and even your kids, it feels like they're kind of saying, back off, mom and dad. But the book really encourages us to reassess our boundaries, to stay present and involved and communicative. And I feel like that book really encouraged me to have hope and see these years as an opportunity, a positive opportunity, as opposed to something to fear or be nervous about. Another book that I really liked was called Hold On to Your Kids. I think it's like why parents need to matter more than peers. It's just that stage, right, where peers become so important And I think the book is counterculture, which is something I kind of like, but it really gives strong argument for why parents need to stay involved, stay in the game. And those are the two that really stood out to me. I have The 5 Love Languages of Teens on order, so I'm going to read that soon. Other than that, I really love reading one-on-one with my daughter, my teen daughter. My husband is reading one-on-one with our middle school son, and that has been just a practice that I've really come to value. You've been here for a while, you know I love to share books that we're reading together. Here's a video that I share some of the books that we read last year together. That's a practice that I really encourage and highly value. Do you notebook for science, history, and geography? I would say history, we're the most consistent with notebooking, where we always have a notebook going for history for all 3 of my kids. For science, same. We use Apologia all the way through middle school, so I always purchase the notebook that goes with it. The new notebooks, by the way, are beautiful, but Apologia does a great job of teaching how to notebook for science and write lab reports and take notes from the reading, and they really progress the students well from elementary through middle school in preparation for high school advanced science. For geography, we used a Beautiful Feet Books U.S. Geography this past year. We had a giant map of the U.S. from Beautiful Feet, and it is beautiful. I also had them use their history notebooks and notebook about each state that we covered from the reading. We only did that once a week, so that was their geography notebooking once a week. And history, we only notebook about once or twice a week at the most. Science, that's usually assigned, but it's typically twice a week as well. Recommendations for high school language arts curriculum. So I don't have a whole lot of experience with this. My daughter is just starting her sophomore year this coming school year. If your child loves language arts and that is a subject that they flourish in, I highly recommend AP Homeschoolers. They offer AP level courses, very heavy in the writing. They analyze different literature you have to apply to get into the course. It is very advanced, but I know it's hard to find a really great language arts program for high schoolers if you love language arts. So I was so glad to have my daughter take that last year. Other language arts curriculum that I've looked into but not used that looked viable for me and were strong candidates for us were BJU. We used our reading program one year when one of my kids was struggling with reading comprehension, and they did such a great job. I did look into that one. It looks like a great program. And I've heard really great things about an honors English course with Blue Tent Online, which is what we're actually going to be using for 10th grade. The reason we're not doing AP Homeschoolers, I explained in my 10th grade curriculum choice video. How do you cater towards your child's different way of learning? This is one of my favorite reasons to homeschool, is just being able to become a student of your child and really figure out what works best for them. And all 3 of my kids are so different. They have some similar strengths and weaknesses, but the way they prefer to learn, what really ignites their curiosity and awakens their mind are different. And that's become one of the most fun parts. And I would just suggest studying your children. And as you use different things with them, it's not going to be ever like a perfect year, but see how they navigate with different parts. So if your curriculum offers, read alouds and notebooking, and in the younger years like coloring and workbook activities or hands-on projects and building something, and you know your child so well, but when you see them come alive and get excited about what they're learning and want to share it with grandpa and grandma or show their project to aunties and uncles, that is the moment where you take note. This is my child who loves to write, or this is my child who wants nothing to do with writing but loves the hands-on activities. And while they need to do both, you can find things online, Pinterest, YouTube videos, things like that, that you can bring in to supplement their learning or prioritize as their main learning. That's actually how I stumbled on Right Start Math, because my oldest daughter loves like workbooks and just drills, skills for math. She's totally fine with that, but my second child could not sit there long enough to get through a few problems. And so I found Right Start Math because it was very hands-on. It comes with a big set of manipulatives. You use it through the whole curriculum in studying how your children learn by just whatever you're using already and figuring that out along the way. You can kind of change things as you go, as you learn more about your children. Kids' performance after using Singapore Math versus Math with Confidence. I have not used either one of them. I've only looked into both of them in the past. Math with Confidence looks really fun, and very pretty and attractive. I like the look of it a lot. Singapore is not, but I've heard really good things and read really good reviews about the effectiveness of Singapore math. So if you have used Singapore or Math with Confidence, can you leave a comment below and let us know what you think of those two? What does homeschooling in middle school look like? I do have a video coming of like the benefits of homeschooling in middle school. Homeschooling in middle school is so special to me. It's like so special to me. When my first child was approaching middle school, I did feel anxiety and fear leading into it. But as we really leaned in, it became my favorite season to homeschool. There are a lot of changes emotionally, mentally, physically. You can expect the normal attitudes. As people, we respond so differently to those things. So personally in our family, I've seen during that stage more moodiness, quicker to anger, bad attitudes, increased hunger, fatigue at random times, unexpectedly, a lot of times directed at me. We just have more opportunity as moms to encounter that. Read Age of Opportunity, that really helped me a lot. It's such a good time. And not in the sense of like it's so much fun, but it's a growing time for all of us. I saw sides of myself that were not cute, and I saw sides of them that were not cute, but we're growing together. It's a season of figuring things out and admitting to your kids you don't have all the answers and you're trying your best. You love them the most. They want independence, but they don't have the responsibility yet. They don't have the skills yet for certain things. It's this constant balancing act of picking your battles, letting a lot of things go for more important things. At least for me and my daughter, it's something I can look back on and remember as a really fruitful season. We were both pruned in the best way, and going into high school, things are so much different. Things are a lot more positive, things are a lot more stable. There's still those ups and downs, but I feel like we fought for it in middle school. That season was worth the fight to get to where we are now. And I'm in it right now with my son. It helps to have gone through that with my daughter so that I can have a zoomed out picture while going through it with my son. And my youngest daughter is right there on the heels, and I don't know if it's because she's a third child, but just mentally quick and developing quicker than what I'm used to. So she's right there, and we're kind of all going through it together. But it's nice to have that experience, be able to zoom out and know this is the natural process of things. We're gonna get through it. Stay in, let go of some things, hold on to others, love them, hug them, remind them how much you care, and try to see that little sweet child no matter what is happening, and know that it's a phase that will pass. You're raising your future adult children, and it's important to be committed to this process. I'm excited for you. Let me know how that goes. Not a question, but would love to see and hear how you organize all the homeschool things at home. I do have some videos coming out on Instagram about that, but I will keep that in mind for future videos. I'm going to soon be reorganizing our homeschool space, and if I survive that, I will give a tour. We are homeschooling. No one else in my family has done it. How do you deal with being different? Ugh. Many people have the same questions. And for me, it helped to develop like a general answer. Basically, why are you homeschooling? If you can figure out how to explain your reason for homeschooling in a nutshell and then share that nut with each person, that will help you save time and sanity. For me, I kind of learned quickly who was actually genuinely interested in learning more about our why and how and everything like that, versus people who maybe might be more critical or confused of why you're choosing something so different. I feel like now it's easier. There's a lot more open-mindedness towards it with all the things going on in schools and the world. I feel like in the last 5 years or so, the temperature about homeschooling has changed, but not completely. And then there's a part of me that over time has enjoyed being different. I think if you choose to homeschool, there's something already innately in you that is okay with being different and set apart. So I think that seed is already in you in some way, and it'll start to grow into peace over your choice. Curriculum choices, I have shared those on my channel. I can link them down below in the description. I have our 10th grader, 7th grader, 4th grader, and family studies curriculum choices available for you. I can link those down below. What ages do you homeschool right now? I have a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old. Book recommendations, I will always share that. Instagram especially, you'll see a lot of book recommendations, like what we're currently reading, or books in different themes and categories that are grouped together. I also have many blog posts with book lists and recommendations there. Your top must-haves for homeschooling? I feel so plain. I just really love homeschool planner and I really love my home planner. My home planner keeps me on top of things outside of homeschooling. I think just having a planner and using it and following it, treat it like your boss. It is so essential for me. This is the only way I get things done on the day that I want to get it done on. And a lot of people ask what are my favorite planners. I share them a lot on Instagram. However, you got to find the planner that you're going to follow, the planner that you're going to use, that you respect it enough to follow its orders. Whatever's written in there, you're going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, you're going to write it on the next day and get it done. So for me, how I choose my favorite planners are basically the ones that I stick to. Another must-have for homeschooling, I really like my cart. Not everyone needs a cart, but I love it. It helps me so much. It stores all my teacher manuals, my Bible study, my supplies from just me, rolls around. It's so easy to transport. I make use of it every single day. I even store like my vitamins in there, and that's where I keep my homeschool essentials. Another must-have for me is some type of online subscription for the kids. I love having something on hand that I can easily refer to, add in their loop schedule, or just I need to get something done. You can do a lesson on Lily and Thistle or a Skillshare lesson. Those online subscriptions have come in clutch for me many times, and they're learning something they love. They can pick from a variety of things that I'm okay with. Everyone is at peace. I'm able to get something done and they're able to learn some new skill or practice something they're working on. I'll drop a link down below for some of my favorites. Tips on keeping littles distracted while teaching bigs. This was a fun one for me. When I had little ones like infants and toddlers, I would keep some bins of a variety of safe toys and soft things and harder things, but things that were safe where they can play with independently. And I would keep them in little bins and I would store them up high. And those would only come out during school time. And that was a game changer of just not making it like a free play thing where they have access to it all the time and they get bored with, but it was something that would only come out when I needed to have quiet time with my older kid to work on math or language arts. I would pull down a bin or maybe two and offer this fun new magical toy or board books that would only be accessible during that time. So as soon as that lesson was over, I'd put it away and basically keep the magic there for as long as possible. That was a very effective practice for us. And I do have a list of simple things I would keep in those bins to keep my toddlers busy. I'll link that below. When I would read aloud to my older kids, I mean, at the time they were like young elementary, but they were older kids at the time, I would just read aloud to all of them and not have the toys out. I found that having my toddler there would encourage me to read with a lot more enthusiasm anyways. So it wasn't a problem to have them around. They would try to grab at the book at times, but I just kind of, no, not right now, Yeah, so I found having the little ones there when I read aloud was fine at that stage. Have you tried No Science? I have. I used it for 1 year and we ended up doing like 2 weeks of lessons for over 1 week. And so I kind of doubled it up. It was early on in our homeschool and it reminds me a lot of Sunlight. If you've ever used the instructor guide of Sunlight, it looks very similar to that. You're reading books, they give you the experiments. For the year that we used it, it was very straightforward, easy to use, just tells you exactly what to do. But 1 year was good for us. After that, we wanted to move on to something that went more in depth into the topics. What were some favorite curriculum or unit studies you did over the years? Oh, let me just think. First thing that comes to mind is Brighter Day Press. Whitney from Brighter Day Press. I'm sure you follow her on Instagram already, but she has these beautiful unit studies that we have used for almost every holiday. Valentine's Day, Easter, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we've used all of those. St. Patrick's Day, Martin Luther King Day. She and her husband have such a great gift for creating these beautiful unit studies, books, art projects, recipes, craft projects. We've really enjoyed using those as holiday unit studies. Another favorite that I've really loved that surprised me a lot was the word studies from Idlewild. I have talked about them a lot the year that we used it, but the word studies, it pairs with the organic studies. So the word studies is a Bible study curriculum and the organic studies is a nature study curriculum, and they work really well together. If you have kids in elementary school, I highly recommend checking that out. It's a nature and Bible study that work so well together. The word studies in particular, I love. It's black and white. It's so plain. There's no pictures or illustrations or anything people typically mention as, oh, it's so beautiful, but it's scripted. It explains the reading well, it connects Bible to nature if you can pair them together. That was something that really stood out to me as meaningful and worthy of our time when my kids were younger. Another study I really enjoyed was The Generous Family. They have a curriculum for just study the habit of generosity, and we did that last year in our morning time. Again, it's another one that surprised me. I didn't expect too much, and it was really well done, just really well done. And I love that our whole family focused on generosity for an entire year. We use that in our morning time. I have a discount code below that I can share with you. I'm an affiliate for them because I love them so much. That one links to videos that were really powerful, and I would tear up often. My kids were very moved by it. I think if you can work it into your morning time, it's a really good study. Another one I really am thankful for is Lily and Thistle. Watercolor School is my favorite. My daughter would say Nature's Art Club is her favorite because there's a lot more craft projects, but I've just really enjoyed having those subscriptions. It's a lifetime subscription, so we've been using it for years. We use it at our leisure. I put it in our loop schedule, but we skip it when we need to, when it's a busy week. But I just love having those on hand. The final products are so beautiful and such treasures that I get to keep in their little watercolor journals. That has been a long-time favorite of ours in our homeschool. I haven't really mentioned core curriculum that I've loved. Not to say I haven't loved it, but it's more straightforward. The only one that really stands out to me as like a great year was the Peaceful Press, The Precious People, their ancient history study. That was actually a lot of fun. That was the year we all stayed home a lot, and so we were able to do the full, like, read all the books, do all the crafting, do all the recipes. We really enjoyed that year. It was so rich, so full. When we pick a curriculum that has all those extra things, I love when we can actually do them. So trying not to pick so many of those because I know our current life stage doesn't accommodate for that kind of time. But if you do pick something like that, I would highly suggest not overcrowding your plate with other curricula and just kind of allowing yourself to really do all those things to get the full experience of it. It makes such a big difference, and we really enjoyed that year. Please tell us about the pens in this picture. Okay, let me see if I can even find that picture for you. Oh, is this one? So this is the picture that I posted when I put the question box on Instagram. These pens and highlighters are from Mr. Pen, and I can link those below. It's like a boho style gel pen, really pretty, and this pack of dual tip highlighters that I love and I use in my planners all the time. So I just got through 2 pages of, I think, 6 pages of questions. So I'm gonna pause and try to make a part 2 or 3 of a Q&A video. It's such a joy to talk about homeschooling and chat with you about these random things. So it's really fun for me to see your questions and get excited about it. I can't wait to talk about that. Be sure to click the link below to check out the deal from Code Monkey. Again, it's a 25% off discount for a subscription. Check it out and see if it's a good fit for your family this coming homeschool year. Thank you so much to Code Monkey for partnering with me, and I will see you guys in the next video.